This is video 1, just the introduction to trig functions to understand what they are. Okay, so we're going to begin with let's think about similar triangles for a minute. When you learned similar triangles, you learned, let's make this a 3, 4, 5 triangle just to make it easy. When you learn to look at triangles and see if they were similar, you were taught to take the shortest sides and make a ratio out of them, and then see if that ratio was equal to the longest sides, which are 5 and 10, and the medium sides, which are 4 and 8. And one way to do that is to make this into equivalent fractions, and you say, oh, the ratio between these two triangles is 1/2 every time. So these are two similar triangles. Another way I taught you to do it, because sometimes you get some strange fractions and you can't really tell very easily if they are proportional, if those fractions are congruent, or are equal. And so you can also key it in as a division problem and get a decimal. 1 divided by 2 is 0.5, and you can do this all the way across the board and you get 0.5. Alright, and you can see that these two triangles are similar. Now another thing you can do is compare their sides within each triangle. So you could compare maybe the short side and the long side. Okay, the short side is 3 and the long side is 5. And over here, the short side is 6 and the long side is 10. So the ratio of the short to the long side on this triangle is 3 to 5, and on this triangle is also 3 to 5. Okay, the short side to the medium side on the smaller triangle is 3 to 4, and the short side to the medium side on the larger triangle is 6 to 8, which is also 3 to 4. So not only is each side proportional, but the ratios between these two sides are proportional to the ratio, or are equal, to the ratio between these two sides. And this works out for all triangles. Now it works out for all triangles whether they're right triangles or not. But mathematicians have compiled a list of ratios between sides of right triangles, and those ratios are called trig functions. Okay, now one way to remember the trig functions is by the mnemonic SO, CA, TOA. This stands for sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. That lets you know which sides of these right triangles you are using the ratio of. Now, they've compiled this list according to whatever the angle is right here. Okay, and the reason they've done that is if you have a right angle and your acute angle or your obtuse angle, either one, are congruent, you know you have similar triangles. So the proportions have to always be the same. The ratios between each of the legs has to be the same. So if I had, say, a 37-degree angle here, and I had a 37-degree angle here, and we have two different size triangles, but they have two angles that I know are equal. I know those two triangles are going to be similar. And because of that, I can know that the ratio between the short side and the medium side will be the same for each one. Now, a 37-degree triangle, I happen to know, is a 3, 4, 5 triangle, which is what we just did up here. And you can see that the ratio of the short leg to the medium side, or the long leg, because the hypotenuse is never called the leg. And you see our Tarzan man is here again. Okay, the short leg to the long leg is always the same. 3 to 4, which is 0.75. And the short side to the hypotenuse is always the same, which is 3 to 5, which is 0.6. All right, now that turns out you can do that for any right triangle. And they've compiled this list of ratios, and they are programmed into your calculator so that you can take any angle, and if you know one side of a triangle, you can find the other two using these ratios. Now, the ratio for sine tells you the lengths of the opposite side and the hypotenuse side comparatively. And cosine tells you the adjacent and the hypotenuse, and tangent tells you the opposite and the adjacent. And that way you can find any side, and you're going to find out that you can also take, when you know the sides, you can find the angle. And that's what we're going to work on.